Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You have made it once again to another episode of Pickup Lines. It is the talk show in a car, and today we might have a little more sports talk than normal because I am pleased to have Carolina Teague here with us, who's giving heart vibes already here. You are several things. You're a sports commentator, you're a reporter, you dabble in wrestling, among other things, I'm sure.
Yep.
And you're no stranger to a lot of San Antonio viewers and listeners on the airwaves, so thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate that. Some people might be surprised because you talk so much about the Spurs and obviously local teams that you are not from San Antonio.
Right. I'm from Chicago, the South Side.
The South Side of Chicago. And again, I always say I would never ask a woman her age, but I know you've talked about when you were a young girl, you were the heyday of the Chicago Bulls, the Michael Jordan Bulls, the dynasty was in full effect. So you're old enough to remember when they were winning all those titles?
Yes. So when I was little, my dad built a special room in the basement, and I would read the paper every single morning, read the sports section. Michael Jordan was our local inspiration, our hometown hero. So I always kept up with basketball when I was in elementary school. And then when I moved to San Antonio, that's when the Spurs did their dynasty run. So I feel like I'm a little bit of the good luck.
That's it. It's all you.
Yes. I don't know about now, but...
I was going to say, where have you been the last few years?
I know.
No, we'll get to that in just a little bit because, I think Spurs fans, and I'm old enough to remember championships here, obviously, but they last won in 2014, so anybody like younger than the age of 10 or 11 has no idea of Spurs' greatness in person.
Yeah, probably not.
Winning titles in that sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But they have memories.
Sure.
There's archives, you know.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah,
true.
They can pretend like they were there, which is the great part.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. South side of Chicago.
Yeah.
What was that like growing up as a young girl, and then what ultimately brought you to San Antonio?
Lots of crime. I mean, I didn't.
Well, I didn't want to stereotype and say that, but I've heard that the South Side of Chicago is not the safest place on earth.
Well, when you're growing up in it, it doesn't feel unsafe. Like you're used to like I was used to like the neighbor always getting robbed. I was used to, like the house someone burnt the house 2 houses down. We watched it go up in flames. My elementary school had graffiti. I always heard gunshots, but that was my normal. And there was always fights in elementary. It was elementary, but it was wicked out there. It was crazy. But I was used to it, so it didn't really bother me.
And there wasn't back then.
All you had to do was mind your business.
And I know you're not old by any means, but that was pre-iPhone, the internet was out, but there wasn't like the TikTok and Snapchat and all that where you could just see all of this play out.
No.
On social media.
I wish that I would have. My life would have been lit at the time.
Well, okay. I was going to ask.
TikTok.
Would you have liked to have had social media when you're in your youth? Like when you were really, really little?
Yeah, why not? I think
I don't know, because some people would be like, there'd be incriminating videos out
yeah.
there of...
No, I wasn't a criminal, but
No,
there were
I'm not saying you were a criminal,
yeah.
but kids are kids. No, I'm not implying at all that you were engaged in any criminal activity, but listen, who among us has not done something crazy or immature in their youth? I'm not trying to implicate you here.
Are you the feds?
I am not the feds. Speaking to my lapel. No, I'm not here. This show is not a cover for your...
This is an undercover.
This is not a sting operation.
I know.
Don't you get me in trouble, girl. Unless you want to come clean on anything here that we know about.
I don't know if I can trust you with that information. I'm just kidding.
No.
I wasn't a criminal, though.
No.
But it was fun. I mean, it was fun. I loved it. It was great. And then, coming down here, it was a big shift. Like, everything was much safer.
But what brought you to San Antonio?
Oh, my grandma got sick. So my parents are originally from the Rio Grande Valley.
Okay.
And so my grandmother got sick, and my mom wanted to be closer to my grandma. And my mom has, 12 brothers. So they were all scattered, like San Antonio, Houston, Dallas, Valley. And so my mom was like, we'll move to San Antonio because it's in the middle of everything. We can get to everything quick from San Antonio.
That's a good point.
That's why they picked this city right here.
And you said you got here and it was like a culture shock.
Yeah, it was definitely a culture shock. There was a lot more people that look like me. A lot of I'm Mexican American, whatever you want to call it, but it was a lot more people that looked like me. It was way safer. So it was just a big transition. Like, I didn't realize how much of I don't know. I would say like a criminal place I grew up in
Okay.
until I came down here. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think we could all agree San Antonio is different than the south side of Chicago, right? Respectfully. Did you go to high school here?
Yes, I went to Judson, the best, greatest school of all time.
Okay. The Rockets.
Yep, I'm a Rocket.
Now, during this time, were you following sports? Did you know that you wanted to pursue a career in front of the camera or in front of a microphone, like those kinds of things?
I don't remember. I think I remember that every time I would watch the NBA, Hannah Storm was always on.
Yes.
And then when I was little, Nickelodeon was big, and I would watch NBA Inside Stuff every Saturday with Ahmad Rashad and Summer Sanders.
Heck yes.
So, and then Summer Sanders, she was the host of Figure It Out as well, which was a Nickelodeon show.
Right.
And it was my favorite show, and seeing her on Figure It Out and then seeing her on Inside Stuff, she's really versatile. So I always kind of was like drawn to like their position, like how did they get there? But I didn't think I would be a journalist. But I did stay ready, so I didn't have to get ready. So I constantly kept up with sports, and I remember like about 3 years before I started this whole thing, I had put a post up, and I said, you know, keeping up with sports because I'm going to be on ESPN one day. And so I didn't even know how that was going to happen, but I always just paid attention.
Hannah Storm is still on ESPN to this day. God bless her.
Yep.
Doing some amazing things.
Yep.
Gosh, and I remember Summer Sanders and Ahmad Rashad and all that stuff growing up as well. So you're bringing back memories now.
I know.
Very good.
Good times.
Great times. And who knew at the time maybe that they had lit a fire under you or were beginning to inspire you to pursue that?
Yeah. I was blessed to interview Summer on my former radio show, and I asked her, like, did you realize like you inspired like young girls like me to do this? And she said like it's surreal to her, and she didn't even realize that she was inspiring people. So it was pretty crazy.
And I suspect now you are inspiring young girls locally and anybody within the sound of your voice that can hear or see you.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I have a call today at 2:30. Like I'm mentoring like a young girl already who's a student at University of Texas. I've spoken at colleges, and I'm just like, why do you guys want to like look up to me? It's crazy, like, and ask me questions. But I feel like anybody can do it, and that's what I feel like is important, is that I look, you know, have a certain look. And there's so many people that approach me, men and women, and they're like, you make us feel like we can do it too. And I'm like, you can. You just have to, you know, be consistent. That's it.
That's it. I love it. It's working for Carolina. Very good. Well, we're just getting started here. We have a lot more to get to. Carolina Teague is the guest here on Pickup Lines. We have wrestling to talk about still and so much more. So don't go away. We'll be right back. We're back here on Pickup Lines with Carolina Teague, a sports reporter extraordinaire, inspiration to young girls who see her, hear her on the air and everything. You mentioned you went to Judson High School. You're a proud Judson Rocket. What happened after Judson? What did you do after that?
So life happened. Excuse me. Life happened. I became a mom, and I had to find my way out of the trenches, I would say. So cause it was kind of like my path took a detour. So I did want to be a sports journalist. My grandmother was in radio for 32 years, number one. And so I wanted to go down that route, but my grandmother was like, there's no money in radio. So I had to find an alternative, because she was kind of right, honestly, unless you make it big. But
she was huge in McAllen, right?
In McAllen, yeah.
And she had like a Spanish language show, you said, for decades.
Yeah, Tejano music, number one. It's crazy because, you know, I've had people do segments on me, and I don't even mention my grandma's name, but I've had people DM me like, is your grandma so-and-so? I'm like, oh my God, grandma, you're so famous.
Is she still around?
Yeah, she's still around, but she's not on radio anymore. She retired, yeah.
No, but back in the day, I mean, she was the thing. So life happens, you have a baby. How did that change you? How difficult was it at that time to make that kind of life pivot and adjustment?
It was hard. I was a teen mom. I had a child when I was going into senior year at Judson, but I had a really great support system. My parents really supported me. I just would have to wake up and get ready, take my child to school on the bus 5:30 in the morning, go to school, get off at 2:30, get on the bus again, drive, go all the way back to the house, walk with my son in the car seat, get back, go to work at HEB, was my first job, and then I'd be home by like 1 in the morning. I'd do it all over again. So it's really tough. So I feel like everything I do is just like really light work to me. It's really easy.
It's all relative, right? This is nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I always go back to that. Like whenever I feel like I'm struggling in this field, I always go back to like things could be worse.
I've said this. If the news business has taught me anything, it's that even you think you're having a bad day, but somebody out there always has it worse than you. Unfortunately. So is he your only child?
No, I have 2 kids.
You have 2 kids.
I have 2 kids.
So how has motherhood changed you? I mean, you can't imagine your life without your kids.
No, absolutely not. I think motherhood has changed me because now I want my kids to chase their dream. Like my son, my little one, he wants to be in the NFL. So I'm already like practicing with him. I'm his public relations. I'm doing interviews with him,
Nice.
prepping him to like get signed to the Steelers one day. That's his dream team.
Oh.
So I'm just like really putting the pieces of what he needs to do to become that. So it's made me like feel like if I can chase my dream and it's attainable, then you can too. And they have like nothing. The world is their oyster. That's how I see it.
Yeah. You've broken some barriers along the way. I mean, hosting sports talk radio shows here in this market and other things that you've done and the wrestling, which we'll get to here in just a little bit. But how would you describe to the audience kind of what you're doing right now and what your passions are right now?
So right now I'm very heavily into sports production, just the back end of things.
Yeah.
I am the lead commentator for Booker T's WWE ID Reality of Wrestling, and I just got back last night at 1 in the morning. I was doing ring announcing for their show last night, but I do ring announcing, commentary. I report not for the Spurs, San Antonio Spurs, but I have a website that's dedicated to the Spurs, and I have a team of incredible writers. They're absolutely fantastic, and I'm really grateful for them. And then I was able to be on the Spurs All Women's broadcast.
I saw that
season. I was really excited.
I did see that,
Yeah.
which was super cool. That had to be amazing, and hopefully they'll do that again at
I
some
hope
point.
so.
Have you ever been body slammed or like part of the wrestling shenanigans that go on in the ring? In a physical sense.
Well, no, but Thunder Rosa, she's San Antonio native.
Yes, absolutely. Know her.
She has beaten me up a couple times. She's dragged me on the ground, hit me with a bouquet of flowers,
Not nice.
pulled me by my hair, slapped me, pushed me. So I have been, abused by Thunder Rosa, if you will, but it's all in good fun.
She's amazing.
She is amazing. I was the general manager of Mission Pro Wrestling,
Okay.
so we kind of bumped heads a little bit because she owned the company, but I would try to like make everything a professional company, and then she
Right.
just would take it too far and take it out on me. It was pretty crazy.
How rude.
How rude.
Oh
Like,
my gosh.
Thunder
Yeah.
Rosa.
Dude, she's but have you ever considered doing something like that, or you prefer the microphone and the ring announcing?
I prefer the microphone and ring announcing. I think, don't get me wrong, like I want to go in the wrestling ring. Actually, recently I just want to feel what it's like, because I feel like that's important, is for me to like take a chop, be able to get thrown on the ground, body slammed. That's all important because I want to feel the pain.
Yes.
So that way I can understand when I'm describing it, what it's like.
Yeah.
So that's coming up soon. I really am wanting to get in the ring, not
Oh.
to be a wrestler, but just feel the pain and understand.
Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, that's commitment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I
well,
mean, yeah.
just protect the face, as we say in the business.
Mhm.
It's your moneymaker right here, right? You gotta
Facts.
protect the face. Okay, well, I'll be rooting for you not to get seriously hurt or anything. Did you play basketball or sports in your youth?
I played baseball on the boys team. My dad was a coach for Little League baseball, and I was left field. I feel like I'm a good hitter. I could throw the ball right down the middle.
Okay.
So I was pretty good at that, but I just didn't pursue it further. It was just for a little bit.
Okay.
Oh, and I was also swimming too. And I don't know what happened, but I don't know. I was trying to race somebody in swimming. I can't do it anymore. I don't know. I guess I just lost my touch.
Well, I mean, nothing. You can't just get back in the pool and get after it again. And
Exactly.
I'm sure you could be right back there.
Yeah, it would be fun.
Judson, obviously a mega football school and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But did you have any involvement with the football team in terms of like commentary or covering the team or just anything while you were there?
No, because you want to know why? I just didn't even know that was an option. I didn't know that you could do that. If I would have known, I would have did it, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
But I guess you could.
Well, it's different times now.
Yeah.
Different times now.
But I think if I would have started back then, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I feel like everything I went through kind of just made me who I am today. Everything went the way it was supposed to.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe that.
Yeah, very good. And there's still more to get to here with Carolina Teague. We're going to step aside here for just a few minutes, continue here on Pickup Lines with the one and only Carolina Teague, so don't go away. All right, a few more minutes here with Carolina Teague, sports reporter, ring announcer, future wrestler perhaps, mother. Am I leaving anything out?
No, I think I'm good.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm just hardworking.
You're very, very hardworking.
Mm-hmm.
You're one of those people sometimes I don't know like how you maintain all of that in a 24-hour day.
Everybody always tells me that.
Do you sleep?
I hardly. Like, I'll pull all-nighters if I have to.
What?
I know. I pulled in multiple all-nighters.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So what's the next big project you're working on right now?
Well, I really want to be at the WWE. I want to do wherever they need me, interviewing, commentating. I want to be in boxing, commentary. I just really want to be in sports production and just like fly all over the country and do all that.
But in particular, it sounds like these contact sports, like mixed martial arts type thing, you know, combat type stuff, like not football, baseball, basketball, but more like what you're talking about.
I don't know, honestly. Like, I really like everything.
Yeah.
So I want to be anywhere. Like, I'd be happy anywhere. Like, I love covering basketball. I love football. And that's why I keep my hand in the cookie jar everywhere, is because I keep up with everything, because I know one day, whenever that opportunity is coming, and when it does, I'm already prepared.
Yeah.
So I'm just ready for whatever comes my way.
If that meant leaving San Antonio, would you do that too?
Yeah, in a heartbeat.
You would? Well, no, I mean...
I'm going to miss everybody, but...
Maybe you still live here. You have a home base here. Well, because you know, as well as anybody, wrestling plays so big here. It's when I was a sportscaster 25 years ago, it was huge. And still is.
Yeah, I would. Wrestling is actually very big in San Antonio.
And boxing.
And I feel as if they don't get a lot of publicity, if you will.
Right.
But it's not anybody's fault. I'm just saying that they have a really big, loyal community here in San Antonio, and every time I go to a boxing event, it's always jam-packed. Every time I go to a wrestling event, it's jam-packed. There's so many like loyal fans in San Antonio. I absolutely love it.
I enjoy seeing some of the trash talking sometimes on social media and everything, because you're right. I mean, you can say whatever you want about wrestling fans, but they are very passionate.
Yeah, they are very passionate, and that's what I love about. They're very loyal. Wrestling fans are loyal, and I always say that that sport in particular has the best fans, because they're the most loyal.
One of my all-time favorite assignments, I went to WrestleMania years ago in Houston, and to this day, it's still one of the greatest spectacles. Like, it's hard to top that.
WrestleMania is hard. Yeah, I was actually just talking about that with some wrestlers last night, and we were talking about the finals, the NBA finals versus wrestling,
right.
And wrestling seems to be bigger, because when you look at it as a whole.
No, I get it. I certainly covered, and I'm aging myself, but like Stone Cold Steve Austin and those when San Antonio back in the day, I remember Trish Stratus and some of the divas that were in town. And anyway, I could go on and on, but that's super cool that you're doing all of that. I've seen, pictures or video clips of you on social media, like when you're in the ring and you're announcing and you're all dressed up and everything. I can only imagine what that adrenaline, what that must be like in that moment when you're there and it's like haywire everywhere around you.
I'm glad you mentioned that because everybody thinks it's easy to ring announce, and it is not easy, everybody. It is one of the most difficult things you have to do. You have to train your voice, which I am in vocal training once every 2 weeks. Because I want my voice to sound good, I pay attention to who the wrestlers are, the storylines, so that way I can feel the energy when they walk in.
Right.
I have to look good. I have to be perfect. I can't have my card in front of me. I have to memorize it all right here. And if you make a mistake, you try to kind of like Beyonce your way through it and just act like it never happened. But it's very difficult. I will say that.
Yeah.
Not easy at all. It is not. You can't just walk in and be a ring announcer one day. And I think people really underestimate what it takes to be not only a ring announcer, but a commentator as well.
No, I have a lot of respect for people because I've done play-by-play for like football and other things before. I've never really done it for wrestling, and that's a whole other animal.
Yeah, it is. It is. But I didn't know you did play-by-play, but that's very difficult as well. Yeah. So, I give a lot of credit to everybody who does play-by-play, commentary, ring announcing, reporting. It looks easy, and I've learned throughout my career that is not easy.
Yeah. No, I get it. Are you in a good place right now?
Yeah. I'm actually like the happiest I've ever been. And I really genuinely mean that because I own my brand. I have control of what I do. And I'm not saying control makes me happy, but I feel like now the only thing stopping me from being great is myself. I don't have to worry about, politics in regards to certain things. I can just take control of my own career, my own journey, and it's really on me. So if I fail or if I succeed, the only person I have to look at is the person in the mirror. And I really love that about where I'm at right now. And like I said, my team is great. And I'm in a space where, like, me at Reality of Wrestling, River City Wrestling here in San Antonio, they have a lot of respect for me, and I love that.
But it's taken you a long time to build all that up.
Oh, yeah. If I would have got handed everything the way I wanted it to be back in the day, if everything would have just been handed to me, I wouldn't be where I'm at.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What's the greatest obstacle or biggest challenge you've had to overcome, either personally or professionally?
Oh, personally was being a teen mom. Professionally was being a woman on sports radio. Less than 2% of women are double minorities. So I'm a Latina in sports. I was on sports radio, and that was a very difficult barrier that I had to overcome. But I was able to do it, and that particular journey was great because it taught me how to be tough. It really did.
You were quoted as saying one time, women have to work twice as hard as men to get half of what they have.
Yeah. Looking back, that's for radio only.
I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to judge. Yeah. But you're making the point is that because, like you said, you're a double minority, that from your perspective, I would never pretend to know what it was like to be a Latino woman in this business, but that you had to hustle and even do more.
I put my entire life on that. That's true. It is true. But is it a barrier for me now? No, because like I said, I come to the terms that if I go in this direction and I take ownership of what I have, I could be unstoppable. And I really took what I perceived back in the day to be a weakness as one of my biggest strengths. And once you kind of like alter your mind and tell yourself that nothing's really stopping you and you could do anything you want, you could use it to your advantage, that's when it started working for me.
And the rest is history.
The rest is history.
All right. I guess lastly, what would you tell a future Carolina Teague who might see this, who is seeing you and realizing, oh my gosh, like she looks like me, or I can be that person, that it is possible, teen mom, whatever, all of that. What would you, if you could speak directly to them, what would you say?
Don't give up. If you are passionate about something, be consistent. Make sure you have everything in writing. and also, gosh, I would say, oh, sorry, can I redo that?
Go ahead.
Okay. I would say, for me, my advice would be never give up. Always have everything in writing. Do not dim your light for anybody. And be consistent. That would be my advice.
I love it. It's working great for you.
I hope so. I think it is.
Yeah. Well,
I'm here with you.
Well, I mean, thank you. That makes me feel good.
I'm here with you.
But I love your candor, and I think just the fact that you've overcome these setbacks. Life happens.
Yeah.
And you're here and you're smiling like from ear to ear. This whole time I can't help but notice. So
I'm happy.
Good for you. Well, you deserve that. So it's so nice to visit with you.
Thank you for having me.
Carolina Teague, ladies and gentlemen. Find her on social media. Follow her on your favorite platform, and see if soon she's thrown out of a wrestling ring.
You never know.
Just remember, protect the moneymaker.
Protect the moneymaker.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Ernie.
All right, there you have it. Carolina Teague here on Pickup Lines, the talk show in a car. We'll be back again very soon. You never know who'll be sitting here or what stories they will have to tell or life experiences, but we always appreciate it. Until next time, I'm Ernie Zuniga. We'll see you.